We're taking you on roving, my colleague Nancy Emefa Jiradosi, with a number of students that she's engaged in this morning on the same subject. Over to you, Nancy. Who do you have with you?
Well, Mama V, good morning. I'm at the University of Ghana. I'm seated by two of the university students and one past student of the University of Ghana, simply to talk about this issue of APO, that's properly known, the examination malpractices that has characterized this year's WASSCE examination. But I have with me, I only know one name, frankly speaking. I have Reward, and I also have Mike. And maybe I'll let you introduce yourself, so kindly speak to the microphone for me.
So my name is Stella.
Stella, and you are
I'm also a University of Ghana student. I completed just this year.
Oh, congratulations. I'm sure that you've been through, you've written BEC, you've written WASSCE, you've written exams here at the University of Ghana. Exactly. I'm sure you've heard about APO.
Exactly, I have. You can't be in Ghana and not have heard of APO.
First of which SHS did you attend?
I went to Infantiman Girls.
Oh, Infantiman Girls. Tell me about APO. Was it something in Infantiman Girls?
Well, when you get to Infantiman Girls, they'll tell you that in this school you have to learn for yourself, you have to make the grades yourself. There's no one that will help you with any APO or anything. So once you are there, you have the mindset that there's nothing like that will come your way. But if even there's going to be anything, then you have to go look for it yourself. So, and then with even normal exams, the invigilation is very strict. So there was, well, speaking for myself, there was no instance that I'll say that there was a poor, we had the questions beforehand or anything like that.
But you had friends who relied on these materials. Well, they'll pay money, and tell invigilators that, okay, so I heard that they are leaking some papers. They've asked us to pay some 5,000 Ghana cedis. You heard some of those.
Oh, yeah, there were quite a number of them. Some people even come to say that, oh, sisters, let's contribute, and then when it's time for exams, we'll get some of these things. But it'll come out that the people duped them or something, or the questions aren't real. So, I was never interested.
Wow, you were never interested. I'll come back to you and ask you about the details of that. But give it to Reward from Reward. Were you also at Infantiman?
I was at Ideal College.
Ideal College. I heard a lot of stories about them.
Yeah, there is a lot of stories about Ideal College.
Tell me about your experience at Ideal College.
My experience? Well, I would say that in Ideal, actually, when you go, they actually do teach you. And yes, there's a notion that there is APO. But even if there is, it's not like it comes to you like, this is the question. So you'd still have to study in class. So if you do not pay attention in class, you might miss whatever it is that may come. Not saying that it actually does come, but people actually do rely on it a lot. And I remember WASSCE time, people from outside schools used to reach out to me that, Reward, when it comes to them, I'm like, I don't know about anything. Like, oh no, it's Ideal College, you should have it. People definitely would have it, they would buy it for you. But personally, I didn't even see a question like, okay, this is the APO for 2015. I didn't see anything like that.
Wow. Is it that you were not interested, or one, you didn't have the money to pay for the APO?
Well, some of my mates, I actually heard some of them were contributing to get it.
Yes.
So yes, they actually did. Not like I didn't have the money, but I wasn't actually really interested. Because in the end, you'd have to go to class and then you'd be taught. Plus, they were extra strict on us because everybody thinks we have the APO. So I remember even before our exams, they'd let us go to class and they make sure you do not bring a bag, a book, or a pen or anything. So you go to the exams hall with just your pen to make sure that you do not take anything in. So it was very some way. And when I was getting to WASSCE time, they do not let outsiders enter the school. So you have to have your school ID to enter. So it was really tough and difficult. So I do not know if they actually really got it or something. But personally, I relied on my lecturers.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to share my experience because I'm the one doing the questioning. But let me come to Mike. Mike is a former student of the university. Mike, which school did you attend?
Presbyterian Boys.
Which boys?
Presbyterian Boys.
Presbyterian. Oh, Presec. Oh, I heard you guys there, like your book went, so you will not rely on APO, but I'm sure there are some of your friends who were interested. Tell me about those experiences.
Well, as for Presec, you are always prepared. So with APO or without APO, still, you still believe in yourself that you can write it.
Mike, are you telling me that there was not a day when somebody called you and said, Charlie, Mike, some poor they drop or said, like, let's make you do some contribution, like 100 Ghana, 200, 500 cedis. Let's go and get the thing.
We all know the history of our poor, so you can't really rely on it. Even though you want to get that 100%, you want to score that high marks. That's why you want to go in for our poor. But then you can't tell me that you've been to school for 4 years, for 3 years, and the questions that have been set across that entire period, you are going to use that short period to answer all of them. I mean, APO is something that if it comes, everybody is happy, but then you should be prepared. I mean, it's not something that is really well. Yeah, nobody. As for PSEC, we don't really rely on APO like that. Because the school itself, the administration don't promote that. Yeah. So I remember very well during our time, the school bought screening machines that we were screened before we entered the exams for. Yeah, they did that. They didn't want to, I mean, show the image of the school. So right from the onset, you are asked to learn really hard, and the environment is really conducive for studies.
Sometimes the reason why people actually go in for APO is, for instance, if you are not good in a certain course. So for instance, I didn't have a good background with French. I didn't learn French, from primary school. So when I got to JHS and I was introduced to French, they were advanced. It was a new school. And I was like, oh God, I'm not going to write in this exams, JHS. And I didn't know anything. So at that point, if somebody says, oh, see, MFA, it's a done deal. Me, like, just bring 50 Ghana cedis. I'll tell you what is happening. So you go and learn, you go and shoot the J. Mapel, MFA, and the Tulave, and all of those things. You will be tempted to, you'll be tempted to go in for it. But maybe let me come to I've forgotten your name again. Stella. Was there a course, a subject that you were not so good in, that at a point you thought about it, that okay, maybe...
Oh, yes, there was.
Okay.
I won't even let you learn. It was elective maths. It was that, like, I missed some time in school. I wasn't in school because I wasn't well. So when I came back, they had already like done quite a number of things. And math is like a build up on the previous things that you've done. Because of that, I found it so difficult.
Yeah.
Elective maths was a headache to me. So WASSCE time, I was super scared. Like, I was super scared. So if anyone comes with any questions at all, that let's go through this. And I was also scared of going to the exam hall with any material. That's what that one, I didn't want to compromise. Yes. But if you come to me with anything at all, like a guide, a question, something, I would just go in for it. And I had the opportunity to solve a variety of questions. And I think it didn't actually drop, but you see WASSCE, the format is the same. So even if it's past questions, you definitely have some, like, a question that looks like that. So I just applied what I had learned already, and when it came out, I had done well. I was so happy.
I'm going to clap for you. My word. She talked about maths, and it took my mind back to the fact that maths, if you don't follow it, you get stopped. Maths is a subject that a lot of people even pray to get a D.
Yes.
They pray to, somebody, I know if anyone says, see God, let me just pass, just give me a pass and let me go. And so if there's any hint of APO or anything that will help get that paper, he would want it. Did you ever face that?
Oh yes, like I fear maths, and it's so bad that, I mean, if I learn it, I'd understand. But say if we solve it this morning, by evening I would have forgotten what we did in the morning. So I needed constant practice. So we used to have tutorials. I used to go for every single tutorials, because I know even tomorrow if I come back in the lecture says I should resolve these questions, I can't. So like everywhere I hear, oh, they are solving maths, I am there, because I was so scared. Plus I don't know if that is actually what is going to come. So I have to go and learn something small for myself. At least write it down so I can be reading through. I read through maths like I read through storybooks. So that yes, it's really bad. And then for science too, I really did not really know science like that. The periodic table, the iron and those things. I liked the biology part, but the physics,
the chemistry.
and the chemistry, I didn't
balancing the equation.
I cannot even do it now too. So for science and maths, I mean, whenever I hear they are solving science, they're solving maths, I am so there because I am scared. Yeah.
You know, we're talking about APO ahead, but there's also examination malpractice in the exam hall. Have you ever been in an examination hall with your colleagues? You've been spaced out, yes. Those times, yeah, there was no social distancing, but there was social distancing in the halls at the time. Was there a time where, whilst you were writing, you forgot something, and then you needed your colleague to assist you? Did that ever happen to you?
A couple of times. It does happen. It does happen, but normally, sometimes, especially in those reading subjects, you have read so much, and all is not coming. You need someone to spark you with that little phrase to help you get on with it, and it's not coming. And sometimes you have to be sitting now, so it does happen. Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever had to ask or do this? Oh, question one. I beg, question one.
Yeah, we have always experienced that, but actually you have to do, to me, about 99% of the job.
Yeah.
Yes. For somebody to ask a friend, oh, can you help me with this one? That's cool, but for you to be asking everyone every question is very, very annoying and very bad.
You know, like talking about this, talking about what you're saying brings me my mind to something. I remember there was this time I was in an exam hall, and I forgot how to spell the word watch. Automatically, I forgot how to spell the word watch. I had written like 6 versions of my spelling. I could just not, you know, it happens to you sometimes when you're tensed. Have you ever been in a hall that you desperately needed help? You needed a yes or no answer. So for instance, if it's a graph work and you wanted to know whether it was a positive curve or a negative curve, you needed to ask, oh please, is it positive or negative? You need an answer. Have you ever engaged in such an act? Don't be afraid, your lecturers or teachers are not watching.
Well, for me, I'll say that I'm the fear type. Like, I'm super scared. Like, if something happens, if I do something right now and something happens, my parents will hear about it, and my dad is very strict. I couldn't risk it. So I don't know this thing. Sometimes if there's enough time, I just rest. I remember social studies in SHS. I took a nap because the time was a lot, and it got to a point I had forgotten some of the things. I just took a nap. When I woke up, I was feeling so refreshed, and I continued. So asking someone, I really could not do it. And even if someone asked me, I'm very careful. I don't want any teacher at all to see me and come to question me or anything. So asking, I'll say maybe, like, if I'm able to gather the courage, then maybe I'll ask something little. But I think I have before in JHS, but in SHS, I just so I wouldn't even try. Sometimes even in the university, I think it was a maths paper. I was like, see, if I fail this paper, I have the opportunity to resit. I won't ask him. And in the University of Ghana, it's even worse because there are CCTVs around. Yeah. You can't risk it. And they said if you engage in any exam or practice, the university won't call you out right now. Like when it's time for you to graduate, that's when they'll call you out, and then they'll give you all the details. So I so didn't want to risk it. I'm like, if I'm not able to do this thing, I have the opportunity to risk it. So I won't ask anyone.
Yeah. So let's wrap up this conversation. Okay, I'm going to take 30 seconds. Don't go, I'll be timing you. I know you reward. You've heard what our senior high school students are doing now. Yeah. Beating invigilators, insulting the president and all. What do you make of it? What should happen? Briefly.
Well, I think it is wrong in the first place. And for them to even come out boldly to say they need APO and they want APO and the questions are difficult, I mean, we don't do that. Having APO is wrong in the first place. So being so bold enough to come and complain that you are not getting the APO is something that is so wrong. I really do not know what sanctions can be meted out to them, because it's not like it's just one person. It is a group of people, so many people. What can we possibly do to them? So I think social distancing can also not be ignored, and I can't say they should ask them to copy as well. So I think they should talk to them, maybe get them a psychologist to talk to them, let them understand that this is the situation right now. Maybe they were not prepared enough, so this is what it is. Psych yourselves and write the paper. What you're doing, it won't help in any way. Yeah.
Thank you. You have 20 seconds.
Well, I want to an advice to them that whatever you do right now will maybe come back to hit you in the future. Sometimes there are things that students do that teachers will never know about. There are things that we do that we think that, teachers will never know about. It is something that is there. No matter what you do, there will be a time that you may need help in the exams, but it doesn't give you the audacity to come out to boldly say that they are not allowing you to copy. So the president is like, it doesn't make sense anywhere. They should really stop. It doesn't make sense.
All right. Mike, I'm sure I know your answer already. You are from PESEG and you are against it.
Sure.
Yeah. So, this conversation has been interesting. I wish we had longer time to talk about it, but that's how we end our conversation here from the University of Ghana. We're seeking to reward Stella and Mike, but this is where we draw the curtains down on this conversation. We are taking a break. Roland Walker will be back, who will be engaging some fine gentlemen from Tobinco Pharmacy. Please stay tuned.